What's up, guys, and welcome to a very, very exciting live stream for me. As you guys know, I'm a big advocate of boutique cutting edge boards on the channel, and we've definitely been lacking in that space for a very, very long time. We've obviously lost out on LaCroix, who are doing a bit of a comeback. Cali and all these kind of big boutique innovative boards have not been in the scene for a long, long time, and we've been lacking innovations. So today we're looking at Rev boards with the Phantom X, showing unique cutting edge technologies from a very small company doing something revolutionary in the scene we've been lacking a very, very long time. So let's bring in one of the team behind the project. Here is Ethan. Welcome so much for joining the stream. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, and I am Ethan. I am the founder and designer of the Rev Skateboard. Maybe the people don't know this is a new brand, but some people there who doing DIY build they know in my another brand which called the newbie ESK8, and we've been doing the DIY part for 5 years, I think.
And like I said, with that kind of, no, go on. As you were saying, Ethan, please carry on.
Okay, yeah. I've been doing ESK8 I've been into ESK8 for 6 years, and I've been riding my board all the time. And I did a lot of build personally. I'm like a pro DIY builder, and I build everything. And I know wiring, and I know programming and designing everything. And I'm not top rider, but I'm pretty good at my skill is good.
I don't want to say, if I'm going to cut in just slightly, saying you're not a pro rider, you're not very good. I didn't know until I spoke to Drew that some of the footage from our video we just watched was actually yourself as one of the riders for your promotional video. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm the one doing wheelie and sliding, and yeah.
And that's not like, what would you define as a pro rider? Like, a pro rider doesn't need to be just on ERL and representing on that kind of things. Like doing like the skill levels on that video was really good. I think you're cutting yourself a little bit short there, Ethan, because some of this stuff is absolutely gnarly. Let me just get this video back up because I need to prove a point here. Like this, you've got some really good skills there, and it's really shot really, really well. Let me just throw us back up here because this needs to be shown. Like, this is some sick, as an editor, this is some sick footage. And I like the way you've kind of got off-road and street terrain on this. It's really good demonstration on the versatility of your boards, because a lot of these boutique boards, people are like, oh, I don't want to get them dirty, I'm worried about breaking them. But you're like, nah, let's just go hit massive rocks with this thing and go off-road as well.
That's the idea that I built this board. Like, this board is supposed to be like one board that do everything, cruising, speed, and off-road, even with the binding, jumping, everything.
Yeah, it's sick. And like I said, I love the way you definitely demonstrate the on-road and off-road capabilities as well. And as you said briefly there, binding options as well. Let me just bring it back to the AT segment. Like, I'm going to freeze frame it. Well, I'm going to freeze frame it. This is on street. Yeah, here. Like, that is really not easy to do with a larger boutique board. So it shows you got the torque, power, and balance on that board. Was that kind of the goal for Rev boards initially, to kind of demonstrate that you don't have to be so careful with your electric skateboard? You should enjoy it in all conditions.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and you can share the board like in everywhere. Mountain, hills, grass, or trail, or maybe like rising on the mountain,
exactly.
Yeah, like that.
I got one comment here from Devon Ford saying you're definitely selling yourself a little short there, Ethan. You've obviously got that rich heritage in the DIY scene. Oh, but obviously, I just want to kind of highlight just briefly before we go further into Rev boards. Obviously, Newbie ESK has been very well respected for making really cool stuff for a very long time. As you know, that I've kind of used your products for a very long time. In fact, I think I even I'm going to do a little thing now. Even now, like, this is on my Zealot, but that is a piece of engineering. Look at that, even shines in the lighting. That your newbie stopper and your components and accessories have been on many boards for a very long time. So there's that rich heritage, and I'm really glad that you highlighted that as well, because you've just kind of been doing hubs, wheels, and drives and stuff like that for a little bit of time. But it's nice to see that now there's a complete board to kind of show all those skills put together in one complete board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in relation to the team, do you want to share a bit more about the team, how they are as they stand? Because it's a very, very small team for Rev Boards at this point.
Okay, so I have another partner that called Alex, and he's managing our account and doing the posts and daily logging we log.
Mm-hmm.
And he manage with shipping everything. He doing the
Mm-hmm.
warranty servers that reply the warranty email.
So who's that other rider with you? Is that the other business partner?
That's my another partner. Yeah,
That's the other partner.
Alex.
That's the complete team in one photo. So it's good to see that you're both riders of your product and understand how it works. I think recently with some companies I've seen, they've been bringing on staff who don't really understand their product as a rider as well. So having someone who knows the product as a rider and has that ability to do shipping, customer services, you can then help customers with more detail because you understand your product even better.
Yeah, that's the slogan of our brand, for the ride.
Let me just whack this up. Let's go into your main website because it's really well. There's a lot of really well done elements, and just as a 2-man team, it's super impressive. Where's your right beyond your limits? So it's really gorgeous, and it's really exciting for me to see a larger boutique boards coming back into the scene nowadays, because there was that gap for a long time. I think almost like 2-3 years where there was nothing at all on the scene for a long while. So out of every kind of concept you could have built in relation to like a short board, a long board, an in-betweeny board or a mountain board, why specifically did you want to do something which is more of a boutique board as your first board from Rev Boards?
I think when the time that I start doing the design of this board, Lacquer was down and Kelly is down, and even Flu Motion, like they
Float
don't.
motion,
They don't doing any new board more. So I said like maybe I should consider with this market to as our first board.
I suppose there's an opportunity if there's a gap in the market where everything's slowed down, and I totally agree. I think there's been a lack of development in the boutique board market for a long time, that people, I think because a few years ago, where all the boutique boards were slowing down, I think maybe people were intimidated on going to that market. But what I really like about your board specifically, it's just the sheer range of customizable options. I think we've gone from certain boards coming out with one unique selling point, be a larger battery, a unique deck, or unique trucks. Every single element on your board is custom. So I'm going to go through different elements of your board specifically, but with your board, I want to first start off with one of the most unique features that I saw about your board is your truck system. I think my experience, and you tell me from ESK8 this year, I feel like more and more often this is the year for like unique trucks coming out. I think we've really challenged what trucks are coming out. So let's talk a little bit more about your truck system. Let me get onto the website again. Yes, let's go on here. The SAT Precision Truck System. I go on here. Does this go straight to an image? Yes, it does. Right, there we go. So do you want to explain a bit more about how your truck system works and what makes it different to everything else? Because I think it's a very clean, minimal looking system, but there's a lot of things going on here. So do you want to explain a bit more about how these trucks are different to a normal kind of mountain board, hanger and truck?
What I'm going to say is, like by the looking, you can understand this truck as is between the channel and the 3 link. So it got
Right.
like it got three bearing like inside one truck.
Hmm.
It got like a thrust bearing like for against to the main kingpin. In the
Hmm.
middle, like you got the ball bearing like hold the hanger. So the
Hmm.
and another bearing like on the back, which is a spherical bearing for like for the bushing kimping.
So this component's behind here. Yep.
Yeah, it is. So the hanger is individually. So when you change the bushing, like you don't have to flip the hanger out. Like you don't have to do anything. Just remove the arm. You got the bushing out.
Hmm. That's great because I know, for example, what board was it? I think it might have been even the Hypertruck systems. They were a pain to try and because you have to press right down on one side to open up the angle of the bushings to get the bushings out. So I like, for me, I feel like with your board specifically, there's a lot of experience with owning an electric board, especially electric mountain board, which you've solved with your board. So like you say, there's no bushings in this area here, which is normally like when you press on here, the other side opens, and that's normally a pain. Having the bushings behind
Mhm.
gives the accessibility for the customer to make it easier to swap, because that's the thing, you don't want to have yourself taking out screws in out all the time. You don't necessarily need to do it all the time, but having something that's thought about making it more accessible for the customer and alleviating that problem makes a big difference.
And
Just
also,
gone.
this truck is angle adjustable.
Oh yeah, I saw that actually. Let me go back onto that, yeah, because I didn't actually highlight
Yeah.
that. This is this point here, right? You can
Uh-huh.
change the
Each
vertical
arrow is 10
axis of.
degree. Each arrow is 10 degree. You can go with a minus 10 degree and up to 20 degree. Positive.
That's magic. So there's a lot of. It's interesting. Actually, I can't think of many. Actually, I'll make it easier. I'm struggling to think of any trucks off the top of my head that allow that kind of customization on that base plate, because I think normally this area here, people go, right, that's the end of that. That's fine. That's normally the motor, but not motor mount. Sorry, the hanger for the truck, and then keeping it in one place. But actually allowing, it's nice to see that you've looked to that and think actually we can add more customization and more options for people to make their boards even more of their own. So what would you say? So what I like about your trucks as well is that you're actually selling them individually as well as the full complete. So if people just want your truck system, they have that option to apply that on their boards as well. So you can buy these readily available already.
hmm Yeah, for different, for different sense. For racing, you can set up the back of the truck lower. If you want
Hmm.
to do carving, and you can set up the front and back like uh 10 more degree, like to make the truck like lean small, like a DKP truck.
Hmm.
hmm
I think what's nice as well is that there's minimal. It looks like you tell me that you've made the truck and then you've tried to remove as much material as possible to reduce the weight as well. You've not just had a solid heavy truck. Normally in these larger boards, these hangers and these arms are really thick and really heavy. You tell me, as part of the development was about making it as light as possible as well.
hmm And also another like big advantage of our truck is in this truck, like compared to the traditional truck, and this truck like your weight won't affect the bushing, so the bushing don't
How
get
does that work?
yeah.
Oh, because the vertical weight. Wow, I didn't even think of that.
So your weight won't compress the bushing, so you can use the
Wow.
softer bushing to achieve the same performance like the harder bushing does.
Wow. I actually just realized I've never seen or heard anyone think about the rider weight change, because it does, doesn't it? Because
Yeah,
vertical
it is.
mass changes, it compresses um, the bushings as well. So, for example, you could have, because normally, obviously, when you change boards between people, your rider weight affects the steering. I know for me, I'm a heavier rider. So like when other people try my board, they go, "Oh, it's either heavy, it's either tight or loose." That doesn't affect it. So your rider feeling will be the same for anyone who tries that board, no matter how heavy they are. That's a really
Yeah,
interesting thing.
it
I've
is.
never seen anyone do that.
And
So no
also
matter
like
how heavy you, no, go
sorry, um,
on. Okay.
especially like with the truck, you could like right now on this stock setup, like it's a 30-degree, but
Mm-hmm.
the feeling of the turning is like a 45-degree on RKP.
Mm-hmm.
So the truck feel like the truck links deeper. The travel of the end of the hanger is travels like is which make the turn that even smaller than the RKP. And also like
Really.
without the stress with the for the pushing, your
Mm-hmm.
turn feel like a more linear, more linear.
Yeah. Okay. So you can. So that's. I think recently with truck systems, people started off a lot on double kingpin and then mountain board trucks, and then people have gone as these boards are getting faster, they want to um, have a more stable truck, but they miss the carvability of a double kingpin. Double kingpins are always going to be fun to ride between 0 and 23, 25 miles an hour. They're always fun to ride. But as soon as you start going between that 25 mile an hour plus, that stability becomes a risk. So with your truck, you can say, I don't really need this to be locked down for whatever how I'm riding. With your system, it's an easier accessible point to remove the bushings and tune it depending on what you need without taking the hanger off and compressing it and stuff like that. Really,
Yeah, it is.
really clever.
Do
Hey
do you want me
Tilo,
to?
what's up?
Hey Tilo,
I hope you're
do you
feeling
want me?
better, mate. Oh yeah, I didn't know him. Yeah, go on, show. Please, yeah, let's get a
I'm,
close up
do
of.
you want me like show the truck?
Yeah, let's go. While we're on the subject, man. Let's get it up. Just while Ethan is going through that, if you guys have any questions about Rev boards or the truck system and other things we're going to be talking about during this live interview, please put them in because it's your one chance to get those instant responsive questions and things I didn't even realize. I was looking at truck system. I thought it was really cool. I didn't know that I didn't think the vertical axis changed didn't have any effect on the carvability. So I'm learning things as well with you guys at the same time. I'm going to put you full screen, Ethan.
Sorry.
No, wrong button. No, it's fine. I'm trying to remind myself. How do I get you onto full screen? 1 second. Sorry.
So
there we
I'm
go.
going
That's
to
the one.
show you how to adjust the pushing.
Let me look at here. There we go. Right. You're showing, Ethan. You're away. Let's have a look.
Okay, so for adjust the truck, it's unlike the RKP. You have to lose these two screws first. Loose a little bit. Like you don't have to remove the arm off. Just lose the screw out here.
Do you need to add Loctite with these, or is it just
with the blue Loctite? With the blue Loctite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just two screw. Is it two individual screws that hold on to the bushing? Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how this works because it's really not having that behind the truck. It's not a big area. It's a very small area as well.
So after that, we have this the two that we will include for everyone.
Yeah.
So you can change the bushing out here, like tie the bushing out here. You can see the like it's squeezing in that way.
Yeah.
So they can make sure that both bushing that is equally that squeeze.
Okay.
Like you can see the arm like it's moving in that way.
With that nut as well, is that a skate tool nut or is that?
No, it's what's that called? Like with a spanner. Not like
yeah,
spanner.
I know the spanner. I mean the head of the nut that you're undoing is
that's with a regular with a T2 you can adjust the
yeah that's what I was asking. Like I know you said you was going to incorporate tools, which is very very kind of you guys. But I was just wondering if I wanted to go out, if I just had a skate tool, would that be enough? So
Yeah, you could use that and to adjust the bushing. Like in that
I
way,
think it's
like you
our
can.
first lesson we've ever had on the channel, Ethan. So I appreciate you doing a lesson on the channel on DIY.
It's just showing people like how unique about this truck.
Yeah,
So you can take off the bushing.
and
Uh-huh.
that stays on
Make
the
it,
axis. Nice.
yeah, and your arm like still in the hanger. Then like it's all free to go. The hanger.
What's interesting as well with the width of the deck and the amount of movement on the trucks, they're obviously very large wheels. Are they 8.5 inches? 8.5?
It's like an 8 inch, but with a real measurement, like the size
Yeah.
is 210 millimeter with
Okay,
a
I'm just going
real
to jump back in
measure.
here a little bit. So, what's interesting with the trucks and the space you have, it doesn't hit the deck because obviously wheel buying
Oh,
is very difficult. So there's zero chance with the amount of movement
because I
on the
made
truck.
a laminate like a stopper like in here inside the truck, so you
Hmm.
can actually like stop the hanger like moving more.
Right.
So it's like a
So
stop in
you can.
here. It's really hard to tell
Yeah,
in
of
here.
course. I know. Yeah,
In,
that's
inside
cool.
here, it's a stopper.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
That's cool. And I think I want to throw in a comment here from Taylor who's saying the ability to regular bushings is definitely underrated. But what's nice is you've got cutting edge technology with your unique truck system, but you can also use your favorite bushings you've used for a very, very long time. You're not locked in on one type of bushing that you can only buy from Rev boards. You can use your favorite bushings you use on all the other boards, but use them on your high performance boutique board as well. I think that's a really having options for that for the customer is a really big thing. So you can tune your board using your favorite bushings you've always used. I just want to say one more comment here from Kyle. So it was really lovely, happy to meet you at ESK8 Con, and yeah, looking forward to try the Phantom X as well. Right. Okay. So just while at this angle now, to save you moving around the board again, let's talk about your absolutely gorgeous, super lightweight hubs that you've got paired with the Phantom X as well, please.
Okay, so this truck is made by 75 aluminum. Uh-huh. And you can see like in the middle, like everything is hollowed. For each hub, only weight 400 grams. It's super lightweight.
So can I just ask you a question that because I feel like there needs more of a comparison. So you say your hub weighs around 400. How heavy are normally rims around that size? How heavy are they compared to other hubs on the market?
So we have this 4-inch ring, like we have made like
That's gorgeous.
in earlier. This is like 400 grams.
And that's from Newbie. That's wow.
Yeah, that's 400 grams. And you have the smaller, you have big size.
How has that been possible? Is that just is it? It's not close. It's almost double the size, not far off, and you've been able to keep the weight the same. So with how has that been able to do? Is it the amount of material you was able to remove, and then the design has kept the strength at the same time?
The design is sketchy, unlike other hubs, like we have the front and back half. At the back half, we have spoke here. So we have 5 spokes in here, like to support the back of the bearing. You know the Lancer has no spoke at the back half. So he designed the bearing seat like only for the front. So in that, if I apply that design on our hubs, like the weight, and I cannot like save more weight. So
it's quite interesting because a lot of the larger boards, they look at weight, and because you have the power of the board due to the huge battery, and we'll talk more about the specs of the board in a second, I see a lot of companies put lots of power, lots of range in a board and then go, it doesn't really matter about weight saving because the board's heavy anyway. So it's quite interesting that you still focused on weight saving, even though your board has the power and range to not worry about the weight of the product as well.
I think I've been following, the right feeling is our the first rules. We want to improve everything that could help people like to right feel skill and the lean skill, carving skill, and speed skill.
Mm-hmm.
We've been following the standard, like help everything in control for developing
Mm-hmm.
in control.
So would say that's where newbie skate as you developing hubs and gear drives and wheel and stoppers and all this development you've done that is giving you the skills to put all that what you've learned into a full complete product going forward.
I think I get a lot like experience, like and custom feedbacks from newbie, and so I put in everything, and I save people's opinion to get like everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I improve this board like based on the custom feedback and
I'm just going
and
to jump
also my
onto
personal thought.
briefly onto newbie while you speak about this. Just carrying on as you're saying. I'm going to throw onto just. I know we're talking about Rev Electric, but I just want to show the knowledge that's been gained from newbie. As you please carry on. I just want to show examples of the learning process as well. Yep. So nice. Yeah. So as you were saying about the things you've been learning along the way. Sorry to interrupt there. Yeah. You got some really, really cool stuff. But doing newbie is giving you the ability to learn and develop the products over a long, long time. For example, I know it sounds a very simple thing, but even like your foot stops, this is like what version? I know there's probably a lot more behind it, but your foot stops, this is like the third or fourth public
This is the fourth.
version of your stubber. Yeah,
This is the
yeah.
fourth version.
And like I say, there's been so much development with newbie that's given you the ability to put this into your complete board as well. So I'm just going to go back onto the actual specs of the board because we've talked very much about the trucks and obviously the hubs and wheels as well. We'll go into more of the accessories in a second, but I just wanted to highlight the actual specs of the board. So let me get back to here 1 second. It's going to go into here and here and here. Perfect. By the way, your website is absolutely fantastic. It's very, very clean, very professional, and it is for a team of two. Amazing, really good work, guys. So can we talk about some of the specs of your board? Obviously, the number one most people want to look at is what battery are we running with your board? What's the configuration? So we've got a 21S 6P battery. 21S, is that the first kind of commercial 21S board that's been available on the market right now?
I think so.
And then having that larger 2,330 watt battery up to 61 miles range. How comes we went with 20?
Sorry, I think it's supposed to be 2,268 watt an hour. It's a mistake out here.
Okay. No worries. See if that's anywhere. Yeah, 2,226. So let me. It's right there. So it's actually there. So it might just be a slight difference. So slight difference in capacity. So why would you want to go up to a 21S battery over a 20S battery?
I think it's easier like to lay out the battery. I can show you my battery PCB in here.
Let me just whack this down 1 second. Let me just get you on the main screen 1 second. Okay, here and here. There we go. Okay, so that's the PCB.
That's the PCB, and in each segment, like in here, is a 3S6P battery pack. So we get everything like in here, and we double layer the BMS over the top of the ESC, like to get like the room, get like to fit in more cell as more as possible.
that shows the engineer background as well, because that PCB is really pretty on its own, and no one's ever going to see that either. But it still looks
Yeah, it's
really
hiding in the
really
ball.
nice. Is there a lot of like little things that you, because obviously people don't see your PCB, but that is a really really pretty product, and you almost demonstrate there's a max on the PCB as well.
Yeah, it's flexible.
That's really really nice. So mostly it wasn't even necessarily about performance; it's more about just a clean design. I might as well put 21S in because it fits better in the PCB and the enclosure.
And also it's because our deck is with the flex. So we made the board with the flex. So we have to use the flex PCB like to to save the wiring, like to make the battery pack is flexible.
It's a really really nice. It's a really really nice deck design. It really is. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of subtle lines all over the place with your grip tape design, your deck, and everything. And you said it's a full flexible enclosure. It's not a solid deck. It
Yeah,
has
yeah.
flexibility in the deck as well. I wonder if I can find
Mhm.
another example. Let me just go to Ryan's one. You checked out Ryan's RBE Motion. Check out him because he's doing a full review of the board. Let me just get this onto the screen. Just swap this here, and I'm going to go to Ryan, who's doing a hands-on review currently of the board. Yeah, so you can see there's not a huge, but there's a slight flex in the deck, especially when he's going pedal. So did you want to have a? So what is the deck material made of that allows a slight flex on the deck with the enclosure?
So the deck like it has T700 like carbon fiber layer, with the
Mm-hmm.
fiberglass base, to make the deck. It is solid. Uh-huh. So no foam and no everything, like it's a solid like carbon fiber layer. It has over
Mm-hmm.
100 layer of carbon fiber like to compress like together to make the deck.
It's wild. It's a lot of just I'm gonna pause it just 1 second here. I just want to highlight a lot of larger boutique boards have a very, very wide, huge deck, which is great for a lot of taller, heavier people, but it kind of isolates them a little bit. It's not a super wide deck, so you've also got the wings as well. So does that lock your feet in when you stand in the middle of it, and it holds your feet in place as well?
It is.
Really nice. So there's a bit of flex with it. Is that because that you wanted of those options for? Yeah, I just want to highlight here actually. Just want to throw Ryan's video back in here. Just looking at the like micro small movements, you can really see the like. I'm just pause it at the right moment. There we go. Like that is a very steep angle, but because of the width of the trucks, you're not getting wheel bite on your feet either, and that's a really steep angle to do those quick motions. And as you know, a lot of boutique boards are known as big, heavy, clunky boards. There seems to be a lot of focus on the agility of the deck as well. So I'm going to whack it. So I'm going to go back to here. Let's go back onto some of the specs 1 second. Right. So ESC that will be running for this board as well. Can we talk a bit more about that, please?
Okay. Do you want me?
Yeah, no,
do you
as you were
want
saying.
me like
No,
on the main
please
screen?
continue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to whack it onto here. That's fine. Yeah. So let's go to. Actually, let's go to the next exciting subject. Motors, 1,200 watts of potential watt output. That is a big number for a board. Is that and the
That's the
KV?
real
What
test.
KV we run?
125 kV on the motor.
125. It's even more. Wow. Custom 800 watt motors. Right. So you've got the single motor. Cool. Right. So let's look at the back of this thing. So yeah, obviously ventilation is ill. So what is the So why did you decide specifically to use these motors on your board?
I think everyone like on DIY know like using this motor, and which this motor is called Richer, and it has
Yep.
been tested and by a lot of people, and it is reliable enough. And I have tested another brand like Philips Sky, and what else
Hmm.
like other motor manufacturer, and they all failed
Yep.
my test. The like
Wow.
I have one motor that even the magnet that fell off and cracked the motor,
Oh
the
bloody
stuck
hell!
the motor can, yeah. So the
Like I said,
Richer
you're taking it for off-road and on-road riding as well.
yeah, so the Richer motor is the only one that survives from our test.
I love it. It's not the fact that particularly this is the one you look for. It's the only one that survived the punishment. I just want to know. I noticed something as well, which we spoke about in the lobby beforehand. And I think it's really important that this is highlighted. Obviously, you're now on batch
Two.
of this board, yeah, with your board. Because if I just sorry, I just come off and put this back. This is 9 to 10. You spoke to me beforehand. You said there was a batch of 0 to 10 own chart for local riders who had the first batches, and you said you've been learning from the next wave of boards. So can we talk a bit about like the first initial wave of the first 10 boards, what we have learned, and where we're going for the next batch, and how many are going to be available?
Can I show this board? This is pretty much
Yeah,
the final
please.
look. Yeah. So for the motor, we made the like the 9-pin connector, which just one wires in here. Sorry, it's a bit
Mm-hmm.
too heavy. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a big old
So
board.
you can just plug in and play, uh-huh, like that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's
So
really hard to
that's
make.
user experience, make it easy.
Yeah, it's really hard to make this connector to real because you have to keep the size as small as possible, and you got like so many
Yeah.
power like you need to output. So
Mm-hmm.
inside this connector, it got like
Mm-hmm.
a four millimeter bullet connector inside here. It's just like the regular connector for the ESK. Hmm. But we built this connector inside this tiny big connector.
So with let me just get myself back onto Joe. So with the connectors, I think, like I said, there's a lot of things that are thought about after something's been created. So let me ask in relation to development. You make your board and then you make it as easy and simple to maintain after the fact. So for example, if any reason a motor fails, it's
Hmm.
easier for the customer to just get one motor and plug it straight into the board and then do a calibration and then ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because that's what I've learned from the first bench.
It's like the maintenance side of things, opening up the enclosure. Like for me, I know. Sorry, Lacroix, I have to say this, but I did mention it in my live stream. If you want to check that out, is when you took the enclosure off a Lacroix, because it's the foam and the enclosure,
Hmm.
the screws were about this thick, and then it was such a pain to put the enclosure on and off if you had for any reason a motor issue. So having bullet connectors, it makes it much more easier. That's it, like even like your bushings have been thought about as well and making it more accessible. I also want to highlight. So you had your first 10 boards released to the community. I had a comment here from Devon. I just want to highlight here. Sorry about the wait. You're saying that your RKP trucks is one of the best on one of my boards. Looks great and is super stable. So that's one another thing as well. Even though your board is still early days and they're coming out to mainstream, the components, for example, the trucks, the hubs, and a lot of the other components have already been on boards for a long, long time. So lessons and development has already been made. So these parts going onto this board have already had years of time for development and testing already from the community as well as yourselves. But what I want to highlight is with you discussed with me, batch two, there's going to be 60 boards.
Hmm.
But you said you've made enough components for potentially 100 boards. So, for
Hmm.
example, if there's any teething issues from batch two, you already are ready to accommodate for any foreseeable parts, components that need to be ready. Why was the idea to have 100 parts available instead of just making 60 and having like 20 components ready? Why was that really important for you guys?
Because we're going to have, maybe we consider like maybe in the future we will do 4-wheel drive version. Maybe we
Ooh.
will do like a small gear ratio. We already have the 4 gear ratio gear drive. We may be considering to make the racing version with a white tire, with a racing tire. And 4-wheel
Another
drive
thing I said about the
version.
hubs as well, on the inside, having the bolts on the inside has an even more cleaner look. So I like that. Anyway, saying a full drive version as well, of course.
So the 60 ball is just for this one, for the Phantom X 2-wheel drive.
I love that thing for the ride. It's like for riders by riders. I think is really great, and having these slots here obviously allows that flexibility as well.
Oh, by the way, like right now we build the heat shrink like inside the battery enclosure. So the heat shrink like not throughout the enclosure, the case.
Yeah. So So let me just highlight it so I can. Yeah. So it's fine. I know I'm giving you a workout picking up this board, but you decided to make something with loads of range. So the heat sink is right. Obviously, this. You can't actually see my mouse. I just realised. Yeah, where it says for the ride is an external heat shrink, so you've been able to factor that into inside the enclosure now. So is that because of heat dissipation? You realised you need to have it on the outside? It was fine to be on the inside. Why is that one of the other small changes between the first 10 and the next batch?
Because from the test, I found the motor get overheat before the ESC going overheat first. So it's not that really necessary that like you can make like to keep the heat shrink like inside to make the design more clean and more like increase your ground clearance. And
another thing as well I've noticed from newbie as well, especially you guys, you're always doing small. You don't just accept that's what we're going to do. It's always like, oh, we can improve this, and you go back to the drawing board and add a bit more design opportunities as well. I've got another question from Devon. So keeping on the racing tires, what size what is your goal? Because obviously this is in development. What's going to be the goal in relation to the tire size?
So we are collaborating with the X-Ray now. Like we're going to have the tire size is 165 millimeter with a 70 millimeter wide.
Okay, so see if I can find that in the background. How comes you're already looking at a race version over a four-wheel drive version? Do you reckon that's going to be same infrastructure, but like what kind of differences you're going to look at between the race version and the four-wheel drive version?
It's just different. For the racing version, maybe we'll have like a small gear ratio that with a lower looking with the ball and lower weight, like getting more stable on the high speed. Yeah, because this one is. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
Because this one
is a slight delay.
Because this one, the tire is large. It's really large, and it's not really that stable like in super high speed. So we just want to have one that is made for speed.
Okay, so let me just go on to here with this. I think I found the concept you were talking about. So let me just share that briefly. Share. So is this kind of more the scope of what you'll be looking at for a race tire? Would it be something like this?
That's the previous version. The new version will be manufactured by the CST.
Okay. So it would be similar, but an updated version of this tire. Basically.
Yeah, but wider.
Even wider.
Yeah, wider and good quality.
I was going to notice as well, there are some collaborations, some of the components I see. So have you worked, because the remote, is it the same as the Nexus remote? Am I right on saying that?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same, but special made for the vest.
Okay, so let me
That one,
just
yeah.
whack this. 1 second, I've got it here. Yeah, so here's the remote for one that they'll be using for the infrastructure. I actually really like this remote. The only thing I have difficulties with the you need to get them on top of, because it's a very clear, very bright screen. The battery life, you need to always remind to charge the remote, because the battery life isn't always the longest for this remote, but it's a very comfortable design as well. With the Nexus remote, actually, sorry, the I can't say Ruxus remote, so Nexus or Ruxus remote. With some of the accessories that this remote has, are you going to try and incorporate a light system or accessories that will run off of using this smart remote?
We will do. We will do that in
So
the
that'd be the
future.
idea of having incorporate lights, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's obviously there's a lot of, I appreciate obviously sharing a lot of forward thinking ideas of up and coming projects. We're obviously got great things, race board, four-wheel drive, also looking at incorporating lights into the board as well. Would there be what would you say is the next focus for Rev boards? What's the next thing you want to look at? Obviously the next batch coming out, what's going to be the next kind of focus on development from you guys? Would it be getting the next chapter of boards out and then taking the feedback and doing some small adjustments, or would you be looking at evolving into a race board or a full drive board? My question is, if you went to ESK8 again, would you want to have your own race board which is based around this infrastructure? Because you was bringing one, wasn't you? And unfortunately with customs it didn't arrive in time. So right, in relation to international shipping, obviously a UK audience, I'm really curious to know where's going to be the availability of ordering your board, because another thing you mentioned as well was the tax, especially with things going on with the USA at the moment. You said you had something that you wanted to announce about the tax with shipping of your board. Can you speak a bit more about that, please?
Okay, so we found out our shipping company that help us to ship the boat. They will ship the boat like to another country first, like then send to America, like to reduce the tax cost.
So we're going to have to go further, but it will it'd be a safe
but it
saving.
works, yeah. That's why we said like we will cover the tax there for the United States and maybe Europe as well.
So potentially with things going on with the tariffs in the USA, is what you're saying is don't worry to your customers, because we've already started to think about that as part of forward thinking with our shipping as well. So whatever's happened in the US, don't worry, we will cover that going forward to get your board to you. Because a lot of people, that could be a make or break for a lot of people with worrying about how those boards are coming into the USA. But I suppose that's kind of the focus, to make sure that is done, already incorporated into your costs already.
Especially like most customer like worry about like the tax cost. I know like Europe that had like 20% for the tax, I think.
Yeah, it's 20%. When UK it is, it depends on where you're at. But yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, unfortunately. But yeah, it's working out how to make this obviously even more accessible for as many people as possible. Another thing we didn't mention, actually, I was just browsing your website again, is the bushings that you're using. You're actually using Riptide bushings immediately. Is that correct on your boards?
Yeah, we had,
and that's only
collaboration with
possible
the
because
brand.
of the truck system. Yeah, sorry, as you were saying.
I said sorry. I said like we had a collaboration with the brand with the Riptide. So every bushing that we selling and using is from Riptide.
Yeah, so that you've already got the best that's available, because a lot of people, I suppose that's only possible because of how your trucks work, having that versatility. I just want to throw in one thing quickly, guys. Everyone who's watching, we have absolutely flown through this interview so far. It's been a really good one. It's been great talking to you, Ethan. We've had loads of really good information, which is great to have. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us. But we've only got about 10 minutes left, guys. So if you've got any questions, you need to put them in now, because we've only got about 10 minutes left of this live stream before we continue. So how did that collaboration with Riptide come around, Ethan?
So we basically we stock a lot, or like a big batch of the Riptide bushing. So we have like different choice for different customers, depend on the people's need. So we basically we order a big batch, like import the bushing to China, and we have them in stock, so we can shape the board with a different setup of the bushing.
So with the interesting fact about your bushings as well, because people automatically look at bushings based on the weight. You've got a unique situation where it's about the stiffness, and it's the same for everyone. So if you want a more carvy board, you are not always restricted to assuming I need a heavier bushing to compensate my rider weight as a heavier rider to still have a loose setup as well. So you can literally have the advertised carvability you want straight away.
Actually, we have two different bushing setup on the website option. When you select the
oh, I'd say, here we go. Yeah, so right at the top here, the medium and the stiffness as well at the top. Right here. So it gives you that option. You've also, actually, one thing I've mentioned is the two chargers you've got. I've just noticed that you've got a 700 watt and a 1700 watt charger. How does that change in relation to charging time? Yeah.
Because we're going to offer two options. Not everyone need really fast charger. So we just made another option in there.
I totally agree with that, because I think a lot of the problems I've seen with these larger boutique boards, they ship with a very big charger, but you only need that for limited examples for race, literally only for racing, because if your board is a 21S 6P battery, enormous, you've got more range than everyone anyway, so you don't need a fast charger for group rides or events, because your board is bigger than everyone else anyways. You don't need a big charger, because if you go out for a group ride and you have the giant charger, it's your whole bag. The whole bag is your charger, which is absolute pain.
Actually, our charger is really small in that size. I don't have one charger right now, but it's really small. You can put it on your backpack, and it can does 1,006 kilowatt, 6 watt an hour.
That's crazy.
You can full charge the board around 1 hour, half an hour, 1.5 hour.
An hour and a half? Is that from 0, or was that 20 to 80?
Yeah, that's 0. We did a crazy test that we charging this board in 30 amp. So the board finishing charge in 1 hour from 0.
That's amazing. And also, so I'm reading on your specs here, with the stock charger, it takes 3.5 hours. That's still very, very, very good, because I always think if you're having a board for a very, very long time, you don't always want to fast charge it every time, because it will affect the battery over time. So 3.5 hours is a very good amount of time for especially a board this size, and with the ranges as well, is just, yeah, you don't need to charge quickly on a board like that.
I mean, the board is for adventure. So you basically can carry the charger with this board you can go around with the UK and go around with Germany and something. You can cross the city.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if you saw before. I actually crossed the UK on a boutique board over 3 days. This is the only other thing. This for me would be the only thing available at this point, which I'd want to do something like that again. So if you're what I like to define as an endurance rider, and you do those long rides, especially doing off-roading as well, this is the one you want, especially in an hour and a half. Because I know for when I did my cross-country ride, the charging time was a bit of rest time, but it was a little bit longer than I wanted. So having a fast charger, which isn't gigantic, it allows you to take that with you and get you going again. So another thing as well, people don't talk about this, is EUCs and E-skate rides together, right? EUCs have gigantic ranges, but if your board charges from 0 to 100 in about an hour and a half with the fast charger, you could join EUC rides with this board and join EUC group rides as well, because your board can charge from 0 to max in an hour and a half. So you've got plenty of range and speed to keep up with electric unicycle riders as well.
By the way, can I show you this is a charge pole that we're going to use? So
Okay.
it's
I'm going to put it on the main screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, so you got a full screen.
So unlike other charge pole, like this part, like, you don't have to take off the caps. The cap of the charge pole. You just flip it. And you plug in, and you can charge it.
That's quite a satisfying feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you're done the charging, just plug out the charging connector, and it goes back.
Nice. That's a really nice feature.
It has a better waterproofing than our previous version. This is for the second bench.
To be honest, I'm guilty of going out for a group ride and not always cover my pool because I forget sometimes. So that's another safety feature. And I was going to say, Ethan, I'm really grateful for you joining the live stream today, because all these small details that no one would know about has an opportunity to know much more. And I'm sure there's things we didn't get to cover today, but having the charge book cover is something that you can't really flag on a website very much, because there's so many little details to talk about. So having that chargeable cover is really, really nice. I appreciate you having been on stream and showing these little changes as well. Just because I'm very greedy, and I like to know as much as possible. But the hub options, is there going to be options for different colors or anything like that? Because I know Newbie have done different colors in the past. Is that something that would be considered, having like a different colorway options and stuff like that? They look, I'm not saying because I don't think they look great. I think they look really nice. The black and gold looks really good, but I have to ask, is there going to be options for different colorways in the future, or changes to kind of customize your board a little bit?
So we will add another option for the hubs. Like this, right now this hub is black and gold. We will have the black and with a raw aluminium color with a spoke.
Okay.
So it's a shiny.
So black and gold, black and stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like I say, just because I know there's that you've previously changed it as well. I just got one question here. We're going to go slightly over here, but I've had a really fun interview, so thank you very much for today, Ethan. I appreciate it. What ESC will the Rev using? I know you said vest, but can we ask a little bit more details about the ESC that you guys have decided to use?
Okay, so we was using our own ESC that we are developing. But it failed so many times. So after that, we changed the ESC to MakeX, the 100 volt 200 amp that version, the D100S, and it has been already been proved the ESC is reliable enough so far, and you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about the risk about by using the MakeX. It's reliable.
That's the thing that I shook my head a little bit, Ethan, because I like to say what your board is what I like to define as a done board. Everything that I would do is already incorporate the Maker X's, CNC hubs, unique truck systems, powerful motors. Like I said, the only thing just for me going forward would be excited to see what these incorporated lights look like going forward. But then you can get angled tread light mounts for the time being, and you guys will be absolutely fine going forward. But yeah, for a first product, and I don't normally say this very often, you guys should be very proud of what you guys have made, because it is a very, very clean, very good looking board for a first board out of such a small team as well. Yeah, it's a really, really good product. I'm just going to start doing a wrap up. So Ethan, I'm just going to give you a last statement for you. Is there anything you want to announce, talk about, or highlight that we haven't talked about on the live stream already just before we finish today?
I think basically that's all. I already changed the deck, the concave of the deck. I improved the deck of the concave, but it's really hard to tell from the video.
Yeah,
And we spent like another money like for making the mold for the battery enclosure. It's really hard to tell the
I know
difference
how
from the
much.
video. Yeah, yeah,
I know that was it. Must have been a really. It shows the passion with making a refined product because I know how much those molds are. They are crazy, crazy amount of money
yeah,
for those molds.
yeah. Basically, like we did everything like from like basically we did everything new, even the deck and enclosure, and with the truck we improved some detail as well. And with the gear drive, we have the new gear drive will have the extend the mounting hole that we will have the handle maybe, and we will have the wheelie wheels that help you doing the
Oh,
wheelie.
really?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
It just looks like you're having a lot of fun with this project. I can definitely see with these small changes that you're really enjoying this development board, and it is a
yeah,
very, very pretty board. And I'm really happy that there's another competitor in the market of the boutique market making something really, really niche. And yeah, it looks like a really, really good board. And hopefully we can see a bit more content come out of it really, really soon. I got one final question. Devin snuck in before we finish. How many amps are we running per motor? It's our last question for today.
so for the motor, so each side is 140 amp.
140 amps each motor. Perfect. Thank
Yeah,
you.
the
Okay,
ba-
guys, I'm
um,
gonna go on. Anything else you want to say anything before we close?
so, so the battery is 100 amp psi
100
psi
psi.
for the
So I hope
100. Mhm.
perfect. Thank you very much, Eva. So, yeah, so guys, that is going to be a summary of my live stream. I'm going to be really honest with you. I had a really, really fun live stream today. Loads small details, and I hope it's an opportunity to tell about those little things that you've been doing in the background to make a really, really, really pretty product, guys. Anyway, if you guys are still around, please drop a like on the video. It helps with the algorithm. Subscribe for more because we've got some really, really cool stuff coming. And Ethan, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you on live stream from ESK8 again. And yeah, making such a really cool product. And if you guys want to know more about it, check out Rev Boards. We've got some Rev Skateboards making some really, really cool things. So everyone just watch. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next live interview coming soon. Peace.